Hi guys.
Hi, it is Mary and Heather, and we are being crafty today, and we're using the amazingness of StreamYard to multi-stream in some places, but we got to do a little bit the old-fashioned way. So Mary is getting us set up on her profile and in the group. Hi, whoever's jumping on, say hello.
Hello.
I'm going to be talking today. Mary's going to be interviewing me about how to be a badass on your first sales calls. So if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. We may not see them because we are on StreamYard, but if I don't answer it during the live, I will certainly come back to it later today. I'll go hunting you down.
Wow, we're live. That's so cool. I didn't know you could be live and share to multiple places. Heather enlightened me. So cool.
Awesome. So do you see this on your profile and in your group?
See on my profile, a little bit slow, a little tech slow over here. So I got to my profile, and I'm going to do my group. Thank you everybody for being here and for being patient with the tech stuff. We appreciate you. Okay.
We'll be getting started in just a second, guys. We're just sharing to the site is.
I don't know if it lets me. Good. Wow. Cool. This is so cool.
Hooray!
We are live, everybody. Thank you so much for being here. Yay. Thank you, Heather. Thank you for joining me, and so excited to have you. Heather is a sales coach. I'm so excited to have her. She is about passion and authenticity and openness and connection. You see her messaging, and it's engaging, helps you know, like, and trust her, all the things you know to help you get sales. So while I haven't had the personal experience of her services, just knowing her, being friends with her for months now, and seeing her post, like, wow, she is impressive. So I'm excited to have her here. So if you can introduce yourself, tell us about you, what you do, we'd love to hear.
Hi, everybody. I am Heather Wildsmith. Thank you, Mary, for having me. Thank you for that very warm and generous intro. So I'm a sales coach for people who hate sales, essentially. I've been in business for 10 years, and I was a fantastic coach, like from the start. And of course, I've only gotten better, but I did not know how to market and sell my services. And when I started investing and learning about sales and marketing, the techniques that I was taught just didn't feel good. Like they were just aggressive and pushy and icky. And even the people who were like, yeah, this is like non-icky sales, I would go and I would study their system and I would be like, it still doesn't feel a whole lot.
So icky.
And so it became my passion. I never actually intended to be a business coach. I was a sex coach. I was a transformational coach. But when I finally figured out how to sell and market it in a way that felt good to me, I realized that there were so many people out there, so many super passionate, super high integrity people who were trying to get their message out and trying to start their business so that they could create financial freedom for themselves, but also so that they could change and transform lives. They really believe in what they do. And I think those of us that are high integrity, I'm sorry, I've drink kombucha like it's going out of style. It's fizzy and it makes me burp. Those of us that are super passionate about what we do, I think it can be a little more difficult to sell and market because we want to make sure that we're doing it right, and we don't want to be icky to our potential clients. Like we actually want to treat them with respect and be honest with them. And there is a way to do that. But it's not frequently taught. I had to invest a whole lot of money to find things that were even close to a match for how I wanted to show up and how I wanted to sell. And then I had to create a lot of it on my own. And so my passion is helping people to tweak their own strategies. I don't force my way of selling on anybody. I work with them to figure out what works for their lifestyle, their strengths, the type of business they're trying to build, and help them create something that's really aligned with their values, with their standards, that actually works and gets them clients. So that's me.
I love that. That's one of the things I absolutely love about Heather. She all about it. Like that, so many people here I know feel the same way. You're like, I just want to serve clients, but like sales are so icky. Like, how do I, oh, everything I've learned, blah, 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 so similar in my boat. And I've learned that, wow, you can do this without being a douche. That's wonderful. And Heather definitely helps with that process. So cool. I love that. Thank you. So how, oh, you already said how you got started. That was my next question. So I love that. I love that it came from a place of heart. It wasn't just like, I'll do this. So that's so cool. So let me tell you, any other details that you want to share about your journey through sales, or any challenges that you had as far as anything else? I know you were talking about you were invested a lot and things felt icky and stuff. Any sales experiences that went kind of bad, or like you?
Well, okay, so I will say this. So I got into the industry. I thought, oh well, I'm passionate and I'm really good at this, and I know what I'm doing. I've taken my course. I'm like, I'm awesome, and it doesn't work that way. And and so I started investing, and I kept doing these big group programs. And I've invested in 5 big group programs. The last 2 have actually been pretty helpful, but the big thing was that I kept trying to do group programs instead of getting one-to-one support. And it wasn't until I finally broke down like earlier this year and said, okay, I'm going to get one-to-one support. That's when I started taking off. And so that was a big thing with me. And a lot of it was, if I had known Mary and I was working on my mindset, a lot of this would have been easier too, because I was taking the courses and I believed in myself, or I thought I believed in myself, but I really didn't. There's this bigger part of me that was like, well, other people can do this, but I can't, So mindset was a huge thing that really held me back. But here's something that I had happen, and I've heard other people have shared their experiences with me as well. So for instance, one course that I was in, there was a lot of really great information in it, but the sales script that they wanted you to use like verbatim use neuro-linguistic programming. NLP is a form of hypnosis. It's powerful. It's amazing stuff, but you don't hypnotize people without their permission. You don't hypnotize people without letting them know, hey, I'm going to hypnotize you. This sales script was written in NLP. And so I found it unethical on 2 levels. One, that we're hypnotizing people and not telling them that we're hypnotizing them. And also we're using a hypnosis technique and then asking people to spend thousands of dollars. It did not sit well with me. And so I spoke up about it. And I was told, well, there's nothing wrong with the sales script. There's nothing, it was like they tried to like Jedi mind trick. There's nothing wrong with the sales script. It's just your mindset.
Follow my finger.
Yeah. And so a lot of mentors, and especially in these big group programs where there's a big audience watching you, ask them and challenge them about their stuff. And I wasn't ask them about it. I was like, this
feel good.
Yeah, this kind of isn't right. And you got to understand, like, they have to defend that system at all costs. They're like agents in the Matrix. Like,
I've never seen the Matrix, actually. I'm like, I know it's weird. I have to see it.
I don't know how we're friends. I love you, and I don't know how we're friends. Mary doesn't get any of my movie references. But yeah. So a lot of people, when they won't even, this is one of the things that sets me apart as a mentor. I know that I'm wrong sometimes, and like, if somebody comes to me and they're like, hey, this isn't working for me, I'm not going to say, well, it's just your mindset. I'm going to be like, okay, well, what's going on? I'm going to like try to get to the bottom of it. Right. So a lot of mentors will just kind of like take this arrogant stance and they'll throw the mindset thing at you. Now, in my particular case with sales, I did have a lot of mindset issues. And when they gave me that feedback, I was like, okay, I'm going to go work on my mindset issues. And like, I didn't just go work on my mindset issues alone. Like I went and talked to my family. I'm like, like I went digging, and I did all this work and it still felt wrong to me, so and I'm going to talk about that in a minute about how, there's things that don't feel good because they just scare us, and then there's things that just morally, ethically just don't align with us, and even after doing all that mindset work, that particular script was not aligned, So when people are throwing the mindset thing at you, step back and be like, okay, is this really a mindset thing? Or is it a 100% a mindset thing? Or is it, also like a misalignment, because there is almost always mindset work to be done. I'm not dismissing that at all.
Yeah.
But you can do all the mindset work in the world. If you're trying to do strategies that are aligned for you, it's going to be tough. So
yes, exactly. If you think something's wrong, you're not going to do it. Like all the mindset stuff in the world. If you think it's disgusting, wrong, if it feels awful to you, like on some sort of level, like how are you going to get yourself to do it? You're not. So I love that, yes, working on the mindset, owning that, and being like, okay, let's find something that is aligned and that you own that you can be wrong. And me too, I'm really big on that. We are totally in agreement with that. Like, I'm not always right here. Like, let's be open to what's better, what's best for whoever you're serving. So that's beautiful. I love it. So let's get to some tips. So how to be a badass on your first sales call. So this is so exciting. So I'd love to hear what you got for us.
Yeah, so I was trying to narrow it down to like 3 things, and I was just like, oh my God, there's like all this stuff, and I just want to tell them, but then I was like, I don't want to scare them, because, okay, sales at its heart, all it is you having a conversation with another human being. All right, you having a conversation with another human being, and I'm going to offer you guys a basic call structure. So anybody that wants it, you can like put structure in the comments, and I may not see it now, but I'll come back and see it later, and I'll send that to you. I'll DM it to you. So, but the basic whole point of the sales call, if I can stop burping. Damn, it's so okay. So the basic thing is you are speaking to someone, and your first objective is to find out, do they have a problem that you can help them solve? That's it. That's the whole first part of the sales call is you talking to them and figuring out, hey, do they have a problem I can help them solve? All right. The second thing, it's just really big for me, and it's really important when you're working one-to-one with people, might not be so much in a group program, or especially if you're just selling like a product. But for me, if I don't like someone, if their vibe isn't on, like on the similar level, I'm not going to be able to show up for them. Like, it really would be unethical for me to like sell to somebody that I didn't like, because I'm not going to be able to help them the way that to the standard that I want to help people. Right. Okay. So, but the first thing, just, do they have a problem? You can help them solve. Do you like them enough to help them solve it? And number 3 is like, are they actually ready for this change? And that's what happens like after the pitch. It's like, they may have, I don't call over, I hate the term overcoming objections. It's so just fucking gross. But, so I call it addressing concerns. So people may have concerns, right? And that's fine, but there's ways to even walk through that ethically and like not be an asshole and still get the sale, even though people give you objections, right? And there's ways to like head off objections before they ever even come up, but just for you guys who are just starting, I just want to, I'm placing that information in your head so that you can relax and know that, there's information out there to help you. It's okay. And you don't have to be slimy. You don't have to be sleazy. You don't have to feel like after your sales call, you're going to need a fucking shower.
I love that. That's so cool. It's true that That's how I started out. Sometimes I'm like, ew, why did I even do that? Yeah, I thought you had to do it a certain way to get a sale. So I love that I learned, yeah, like you're saying, you don't
Yeah.
have to.
I mean, I didn't feel good about a lot of the ways that I was being taught, but here's the thing, like you have to go into something with a beginner mindset. If you go in thinking you know everything
Hmm.
and everything is just no, 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 you're not going to learn, right? So it's this balance of, and this is with personal growth, business growth, anything. It's this balance of having an open mind, but like sipping the Kool-Aid, not down in the whole damn thing. Like you want to sip the Kool-Aid and like see how it goes down.
Yeah, see how it tastes.
Yeah, like check it
Yeah.
out yourself, right? And so, but in the process of having this beginner mindset, I was like, okay, well, I've paid like $2,000, $4,000, $6,000 for this course, that course, the other thing. And I'd be like, well, I guess I'll try it.
Yeah.
And then it wouldn't feel good and I wouldn't get any sales, or I would get very few sales. And it was very hard for me to show up and be consistent with my marketing. Because in the back of my mind, I was like, what's the point? You're not going to be able to sell to them anyway. So what's the point of doing all this work? And once I learned a way of selling that felt really good to me, it was easier for me to show up and be consistent, because I was like, okay, I'm not doing this work for nothing. I'm attracting these people. I'll actually be able to like sell to them, which means I'll actually be able to help them.
And people you like, yes.
The people I like. And I mean, I'm not hard to get along with. It's just like, it's, yeah. So that's the biggest thing, is just to realize, like, it's really basic, really very basic, in its purest form. Conversation. Do they have a problem you can help them solve? Do you like them enough to help them solve it? And are they ready? Are they ready to invest the time, money, and effort in themselves to get the transformation, right? So some of the helpful mindsets that really, really helped me. Okay. So you need to be doing your mindset work on like yourself personally, because you got to show up and be confident. You have to be able to speak with conviction and confidence about your abilities and what you do. And I don't mean being hypey. I hate hypey. Hypey is gross. But I do mean like just speaking with authority. So you do need to be doing like your personal mindset. Mary is fantastic at that stuff, so definitely do what Mary said. You can probably help it. You probably go Mary perfectly. So when you're talking to people, like, you got to realize, like, they have a painful problem. They have something that is making their life experience not as joyful or as healthy or as full of romance or full of health or full of money, whatever it is your specialty is. And this problem is painful, and it's probably causing them even more problems than they're even aware of, and you have a solution. You have this thing that is going to make their life better, right? And so, but the whole point of the sales call is this. The whole point of the sales call is just to see if, like, you're the right solution for them, and you might not be, and it's important to be really honest. Like, you don't want to take somebody's money if you don't really think you can help them solve the problem. And it's not only about you, it's about, are they the type of person that is going to be determined and committed enough to show up for themselves and get the solution, right? So there's a lot going on where you're just you're listening and you're kind of evaluating them, the same as they're listening and evaluating you. But the most helpful thing that I did is to help with my nerves so that I could show up more confidently, was to stop sitting there and thinking, oh my God, are they going to like me? Oh my God, I'm going to have to pitch. Oh my God, I'm so scared. Oh, what if they say no? Oh,
I've done all of that. Yes. Oh
Everybody.
my God. Yeah.
Everybody does, and it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah.
But when
totally normal, guys.
Yeah, totally normal. But when I stepped back from that, and instead of feeling like I was being interviewed and auditioned, for this scary ass job, and started looking at it as like, this is for me to evaluate them. Okay. And then stepping back in this consultant role and having just this mindset of like, this isn't about a sell. This isn't about me pitching. This isn't about me convincing anyone of anything. Okay. Good sales, you're conveying value. You're not trying to convince people, because when you're trying to convince people, like you're like basically like me, please like me.
Oh yeah.
And it's a gross energy. Like it doesn't
Mhm.
work in personal situations. It doesn't work in sales. Like you have to like own your worth and own your value, you know? And I'm not talking about arrogance. I'm not talking about thinking that, you know, that you're right about everything and you have the perfect system and blah, 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 blah. I'm talking about just like owning that, like, you know what you know, and you know you can help people, you know?
Yeah.
So having that consultant mindset of like, I'm just going to talk to this person and I'm going to see if I feel like they're the right fit for my program, you know? Are you, you know, are they the right fit for my program? Are they the person that I'm going to enjoy working with? Are they the person that I feel like is going to get good results? Because here's the thing, like, I don't believe in selling to unqualified prospects. You know, and this is a thing that you need to know. You're beginning coaches, so you need to have an idea of like, if somebody comes to you and you're a weight loss coach, and you know, can you work with someone who's never worked out, or they haven't worked out in 20 years? Are they going to be the person that's going to get good results with your system? You know, and you have to know, like, are you the weight loss coach for the person who hasn't set foot in a gym or gone jogging or anything in 30 years? Or does your program, are you only going to really be able to like guarantee results? And I put it in quotes because we can show up and do our part, but the person has to show up too. But are they the person that's going to show up and lose 10 pounds in 2 months with your program? You know, because they're already exercising and they're already doing something on their nutrition, but they need to like just tweak it a little bit, you know, versus someone who hasn't worked out in 30 years and their diet is all garbage and blah, 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 blah. Are you really going to be able to get them those results in 2 months? Right. So that's not like, are they qualified? You know, are they, and for like, you know, for someone who's like a dating coach, you know, does this person have some basic social skills that are going to allow them to implement your strategies? Because if they're hella shy, all the strategies in the world aren't going to work, you know. Or are you the dating coach that takes someone who is crazy shy and helps them work through that, you know? But you got to know, like, who's going to be most likely to get good results with you, because if you sell to somebody who's unqualified, they're not in the right place to get good results with you. You're going to be, if you're a heart-centered person like coach or healer, where you're really wanting, like, you could drop $1 billion in my lap, and if there were 50 people behind that $1 billion, wow, I'd be making a lot of money.
Even divided by 50, that's pretty good.
Really crazy good, right? But yeah. So, you know, if I made, you know, $100,000 by the end of next year, and I had worked with 100 people, and only 50% of them had gotten like any growth or progress, I would not be happy. I like money a lot, but I really enjoy watching people transform and grow, you know? So if you're heart-based and somebody's not qualified, it's really going to tear your heart out that they're not getting the right results. And they're going to be miserable. They may ask for a refund, which is a pain in the ass. They may,
to say the least, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, not only loss of income, but like your merchant provider starts looking at you kind of crazy if you have a bunch of refunds. You can lose.
And your heart like kind of hurts. Like, wow, I really wanted to help this person. I really thought I could help them. So, like you were saying,
yeah. But the coaching industry has actually gotten a really, really bad reputation, and like PayPal, like don't do payments through PayPal if you can help it, because they are so sick of the bullshit with coaches. They're so sick of all the people coming to them and asking for refunds because people have ghosted, coaches have ghosted them, not delivered, all this stuff. And so they tend to like immediately side with the client. Like it's kind of, and one of my clients was talking to different, you know, payment processors, and one of them said, he was like, we're not working with coaches anymore, you know. And
I never heard of any of this stuff. It's crazy.
Yeah. And so the industry really has a bad name, which is one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about getting out here and teaching people how, the really ethical people, how to show up
Right.
and do sales and marketing. Like I won't teach someone sales and marketing unless I know that they have been through some kind of training and they've been showing up for like at least 6 months, consistently, because I'm not going to teach somebody how to take advantage of people. I'm only available for the people who are in this for the right reasons, and they're going to get out there and do good with the work.
Yeah.
And you can only do so much good for people working with them for free,
Yeah.
Um,
That's true.
so that consultant mindset, we kind of got off on the, yeah, that consultant mindset is
tough though.
but yeah, it's all stuff like people need to know. Other things I would say, like, listen, really, really be listening to people. And that's where that consultant mindset comes in. Like you're not nervous because you're a consultant, and really knowing your program and offer, really, like we're talking about, knowing who it's for, who it's not for, is really important. And being able to convey the value. And I have a lot of stuff where I help people. I'm really, really great at helping people. People think that business coaches and like money coaches have it easier because it's easier to like state an ROI, like a dollar amount. But I'm actually really good at helping non-business coaches and healers to figure out a dollar amount ROI. There's a sneaky way of doing it and really being able to speak to the value. And that's what you got to do. You got to know the benefits of your program. You got to speak it with conviction.
If you're super new like I was, I felt like an idiot in the beginning because people said ROI. I'm like, what the hell is ROI? What are you guys talking about? So return on investment, just in case. Maybe I was the only one, but I doubt it. Okay, so.
Good point. Yeah, it's return on investment. So if you pay $3,000 for a program, what are you going to get out of that program? Are you going to make $3,000 by the end of it? Are you going to make $9,000 by the end of it? And there's also like non-money ROI, that's like, you're happier now, like you're
relationship,
your health, right? Here's a hint about this. Nothing happens in a vacuum. Our lives, we make up these artificial compartments, like here's my love life, here's my career, here's my health. It's all one thing. And so when you change something in one area, it has a ripple effect, right?
Absolutely.
And so here's where I want to just talk real quick about having the aligned system, right? And so I told the story about this sales script that was written in NLP. It's hypnosis. I didn't feel good about it. That was something that was unaligned, like that, morally, ethically, that didn't feel good to me, right? There's other things that just feel scary because we've never done them before, and this is where, you can get into the mindset stuff. And, you have to know that like sales is not inherently sleazy. Marketing is not inherently sleazy. As a matter of fact, I'm actually going to do a live sometime this week where I talk about how people that are using sleazy and hypey marketing and sales techniques, it's because they're lazy. Okay. Good marketing and good sales doesn't have to be sleazy.
They just don't know. Yeah. They just don't know what else to do. They think that's what's to do. But like, I know good people fall into the trap of doing all that kind of stuff. They're just like,
I did.
This is the shitty part of coaching. This is like, I can't wait till it's over so I can just serve people. So it doesn't have to be like that. So that's what Heather's really conveying here. Like, you don't have to be an asshole.
You don't. But I do, like you're saying, I'm glad you brought up that point, Mary, that like, I give people grace because I know that a lot of times they're following bad advice.
Yeah.
There's some mentor that's like, this is how I make $10 million a month. You have to do this, and you've got to cold pitch, 50 people a day in the DMs, and you got to blah, blah, blah. And they don't know any better. And they paid so much for this mentorship. And this is the other trap. Like, just because somebody is charging a shitload of money does not mean that they actually know what they're doing. Right? It doesn't, yeah, but that's a whole other topic, if you run up against something, you've got to you're going to have to try some things and figure out what works for you and what feels good for you. Which is why, like, I have my way of marketing and selling, but I don't shove that down people's throats. When people come to me, I'm like, okay, what's working, what's not working, what would you want to be different, and then I can share how I do things, and we may end up like, creating this Franken baby.
Nice.
stuff they've learned other places, but it's about what works for you, what feels really good to you, because like Mary was saying, like, if something doesn't feel good to you, you're not going to show up, or if you do, it's going to feel like you're carrying 100-pound weight on your back to just try to post or to try to like show up on your sales calls. Anything else you want to add about aligned versus scary?
It's sometimes hard to tell the difference because it's so easy to lie to yourself. You're like, oh, it's just not aligned. It's like there's some tiny, tiny whisper in there that knows you are lying, and you got to really pay attention to it. Really, like, you know what? I am freaking scared. If I was being honest, if I was in a state of total alignment, if I was really wanting this, I had no inner conflicts, this is exactly what I wanted, I was so confident, so believing in myself, so feeling deserving of getting these clients, would this feel okay for me? And that kind of like reality check, we're like, oh, yeah, there's really nothing wrong with it. I am scared. Versus like, no, this absolutely would feel like shit. But you got to be real with yourself because it's so easy to, and it's sometimes a little whisper, a little sign like, I am scared, but it doesn't feel good to admit it to myself. So that part is, yeah, it's hard to, but getting real, breathing, getting into the, asking yourself those kind of questions. If I felt deserving, if I felt totally enough, totally like wanting this, would this feel okay? And that kind of can help you decipher those self lies, for sure.
That's brilliant. That is really brilliant. Like, if I was totally confident and, just everything Mary just said, go back and watch that part and brilliant. And the other thing is, like, this is where good mentorship comes in, guys. Like, my favorite new quote in the last few months is that you can't read the label from inside the jar, right? So,
yes, so true.
We all need mentors, and the people who have made it really big in this business, they probably still have mentors, right? They've been at this for years and they've spent thousands of dollars on mentorship, and they probably still have a coach or a mastermind or something that they're doing right now. That's how we grow, whether it's personal growth, business growth, spiritual growth, whatever it is. You need good mentors, but just be wise, follow people for a while before you drink all the Kool-Aid. But yeah, I like that a lot. But yeah, I mean, you want to have a mentor that will call bullshit and be like, yeah, this isn't that, let's talk about what's really going on, and let's figure out how much is mindset and how much of, and it may be something is mostly aligned, but there's just a little something. Don't do what I used to do. This is another thing that took me, that really caused me to waste a lot of money and a lot of time, is that, as soon as that NLP thing came up with that course, I threw the baby out with the bathwater. I was like, fuck this. The truth is, there was a lot of good there, and all I needed to do was tweak it, but I didn't have the confidence in myself to believe that I could, and I was scared, about the whole thing. And so it was self-sabotage. It was just like, oh, I'm going to find this one thing wrong, and then I'm just not going to listen.
Get it. Sales is awful. I can't do it, or whatever. Screw this business, or whatever, could be like sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I'll share this before I'll share my last tip, and it's really the most important one. But the thing that happened for me is that I kept hating sales and marketing. I kept quitting coaching and like going and doing other things. I invested over $30,000 in a car and went and was working as an independent chauffeur. And I'm standing around the Atlanta airport and my feet are killing me because I've been standing up for an hour holding my iPad, waiting for some executive to come out, for me to drive him home. And I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, Heather, like, you're a great chauffeur, but there's lots of great chauffeurs. This is not using your God-given gifts. Like, your God-given gifts are in teaching and coaching people, and all this personal growth that you've educated and yourself with and learned and, yada, yada. And I was like, so as a chauffeur, I wasn't dealing with sales and marketing. Like I had to network to find people to send me stuff, but I wasn't dealing with a lot of, the sales and marketing, wasn't dealing with sales and marketing in the same way. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't fulfilled by the job, and I was working 14-hour days, and I was exhausted, and there was a limit. You can't clone yourself. There's a limit to how much money you can make as a chauffeur. Yeah. And so I'm like, I can keep doing this and never really be fulfilled and always have the ceiling on my earnings, and be dead tired all the damn time. Or I can go and figure out the sales and marketing shit and be a coach. And and this was my mindset. I was like, I'm going to hate the sales and marketing part, but the part of working with people is going to be so fulfilling that it's not going to matter. And, and so I was like, okay, I've got to find a way. There has to be a way. And once I got into that and then got some one-to-one help and invested a lot in myself this year, then I was able to find / create this way of selling and marketing that feel good. And now I actually like sales and marketing and working with my clients. But it was like, nothing is perfect. Nothing that you do in life is going to be just all puppies and rainbows. Mm-hmm. Look, it's like, how are the pros and cons, weighing out? And that's what got me to get over, finally become committed and determined to get over the hatred of sales and marketing.
Nice. And it's just cool to know that it's possible. I know the first time I met somebody and I'm like, wow, this is a nice person and they love sales and they're good at sales. I'm like, oh, so you don't have to be a douchebag to love sales. I'm like, so I guess it's possible for me. So it's amazing how you don't know what's possible until you see it. So let Heather be your example of what can happen, that kind of transformation, that whole 180. I was going to say 360, but then you're back where you were. So 180.
So easy to do that.
Yeah. But yeah, I learned to really love and own that it's not about you. I mean, Heather was basically exactly saying that, like, you're listening and you're having that mindset, you could serve them. If this person has a problem and they need your help, or maybe they do, maybe they don't, and you're figuring that out. And that's amazing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Thank you. So, and the last thing I'll say, this is what really, 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 really helped me was practice doing mock sales calls. Find other people, if you're working with a coach, find other people in your coach's network, get into business groups and just say, hey, I want to practice sales calls, and practice with people, set a boundary with them beforehand and tell them that, you're not buying anything from them in case they're trying to be slick, but, but practice. And that's what made all the difference for me. And I was talking about practicing in a group, and I was giving this advice to people, and somebody popped in and they're like, don't practice doing mock sales calls, just get on calls with people. And I'm like, okay, well, that's great advice for you.
Yeah.
But for someone like me, like even getting on the mock sales calls at first, like
yes,
I was
anxiety. Yeah.
I had anxiety. Yeah, exactly. I had anxiety on a fake sales call. So if that's where you are, no, it's okay. You can recover from that. You can do that, but just be determined. And I tell people, like, practice and let the person know, like, hey, this time I want you to say yes.
I want you to say no. Give me this objection. Yes.
And then practice different objections too. Absolutely practice your objections, because there's
or your concerns, right? Like you said.
That's
what it really is. Fears.
It really is. It really is a concern. Yeah. And the thing is, like, don't listen to people who are like, oh, if somebody gives you an objection, like it's always just fear. Like, don't do that. Don't do that, because that excuse, that kind of brushing it off and putting off the whole reason somebody didn't buy from you on them, loses you the opportunity to figure out how you can do better, right? Mm-hmm. So, by just saying, oh, well, they're just scared and brushing it off. Well, concerns tend to be some blend of like real and fear. And it's your job to help the person figure out how much of it is fear and how much of it is a real life concern, right?
Mm.
And that's how you ethically overcome objections. You know,
Right.
you don't just say, you just don't believe in yourself. And so, well, I'm like, team and bully, like,
Yeah, that doesn't feel good. No, it's definitely not. So totally agree with that. Yeah,
don't do that.
listening, like you said, and really addressing that what's going on versus just like, no, bitch, you're just scared. Do this, or whatever the case may be.
Gross. And you know, somebody who does that, I don't know. I don't know if you really want that coach. You know, that's just, it's kind of icky. But yeah, that's what I have. I wanted to tell people about a call that I'm doing tomorrow. Is that cool?
Of course, yes. Please let people know how they can connect, how to get on that call.
Yeah. So I'm going to be announcing this in my group today. I'm doing a Q&A all about sales call, but I'm going to do it in Zoom so I can actually talk to people, right? So if you would like to come on that call and ask me anything about sales, maybe get some laser coaching about what's going on with your sales process or your actual sales calls, I'm going to be putting the link to my group under all of these. I'm going to track all these down, so it might take me a few minutes because we're streaming in a bunch of different places. But the name of my Facebook group is the Ethical High Ticket Sales for Coaches and Healers. Easy for me to say. But if you go to my profile and you click on my cover photo, there is a link in the description of that. So it's super easy.
Oh, you froze.
You just answer 3 questions. You could come in and then put in the comments here that you would like to do the call. Just put call in the comments, and I'll make sure that once you join the group, or I can send you a link to the group, whatever. Try to make it easy on you. I'll make sure I tag you in the post where I send the link for the actual call, so you can jump on with me tomorrow. And if you're not able to do live, just let me know what your questions are, and I'll answer it on the live, and I'll make sure you know how to find it. And yeah, and then on that call, I'll sell the call. I'll not sell. I will give you the basic call structure PDF because it'll be super helpful for you.
Yay, guys, check this out. Check the link. Like Heather said, there's a lot of streaming here, so it'll take like a minute or so, but she will get that link in the descriptions of these lives, wherever we are. I think we're in 4 places, I believe. So cool. So she's totally open. She's going to be answer you to the best of her ability. I know that. Ask her anything. Take the opportunity.
I will tell you I don't know.
Yes.
I'll
wow,
be like,
what a concept. So amazing.
I don't know about that. I'm going to go ask my coach, or I'm going to, because I always have mentorship, or, I'm going to go find out. Like, I'm never going to bullshit somebody. I'll be like, fuck me. I don't know.
So good.
Answer your question. And yeah, so you'll put call in the comments. I'll DM you with the link to the group. That'll make it really super easy, and we can kind of go from there.
Cool. Yay. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah. Yay. Thank you, everybody, whoever's watching. I have no idea who's watching, but yes, thank you for being here. And thank you so much, Heather. Appreciate you.
Thank you, Mary. Thanks everybody who watched live on the replay. Let us know what questions you have. Put call in the comments if you want to come to my Q&A or ask me a question for the Q&A call tomorrow. And happy holidays, everybody.
Yes, happy holidays, guys.
Bye.